Board of Supervisor candidates. After we complete the prepared questions from the committee, we will get to some of those questions a little bit later. This first question may sound somewhat familiar from the school board candidates, and we'll begin with Ms. Jekyll. You've already talked, each of you, about your own campaigns. Why should the residents of the Bermuda District vote for you instead of your opponent? Ms. Jekyll.
Well, after being elected, this Board of Supervisors was hit with the largest downturn in revenue in anyone's memory. I believe with working with other board members, the votes and choices I made represented the basic philosophy of most of the Bermuda District residents. I do not believe that raising taxes and putting the burden on the residents, who themselves were being challenged with job losses, pay cuts, benefit cuts, and increased costs, was the right thing to do, and felt the majority of my constituents shared that belief. Bermuda citizens believe in personal responsibility and don't look to government to solve their problems. They understand that jobs are a path to freedom and choices. They want to maintain the quality of life and keep the beauty of the area, but also realize that to keep their taxes reasonable and also be able to support a high-quality public safety and education system, they need to support businesses. I understand this. I don't believe that pitting one group against another or making promises to groups that you can't keep is in the best interest of the citizens or a way to move the county forward. I believe it is my role to listen and observe and try to understand the views of various constituencies and try to bring them together, working towards the goal of maintaining a high-quality community. Although I love Chester Village and will continue to work with the village concept and always address the concerns of homeowners, businesses, and communities, there is far more to the Bermuda District. My job is to represent all my constituents, and the only way you can properly represent citizens is to spend time with them in their environment so you can understand who and what you are representing.
Thank you, Mr. House. Excuse me.
I believe it was my civic duty to run for office against my opponent this year. I watched for 4 years through writing stories for the newspaper and attending many Board of Supervisors meetings that it was time for me to act to solve some of the problems that I'd seen arising. I'll represent all citizens, not just an elite few. I'll be accessible. You know, people have come into my office and sat across from me in the office chair and said, you know, I've tried to get a hold of Ms. Jekyll for a while and I can't seem to get a call returned or an email returned, and I've got a specific problem that I need to deal with and I can't get it done. And actually even Clover Hill District Supervisor Art Warren has actually come down to Chester to deal with specific problems in the past. I'll seek input before making decisions. I won't make a decision like providing money to Sports Quest or electric message centers in Chester before listening to constituents. My opponent tries to explain votes after she makes them. She had a community meeting just this past week to explain the electronic message center issue. Closing Chester Middle School was a good example of not getting together with the community before a particular issue that she knew that was going to happen. She knew almost a year before the rest of us knew that the school was going to close.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb.
Thank you.
Because of declining tax revenues in recent years, some county services have been cut, some employees have been laid off, and county funding for schools has been reduced. Some have called for increasing the number of teachers and public safety personnel. Should we increase the number of personnel, yes or no? And if so, how would you propose to pay for it? Mr. Krause.
I believe that we are down on our public safety officers, especially police. We have a deep problem in that it costs us, for police officers, $120,000 just to train the recruits. As soon as they realize that they've been trained up, they've got some little bit of experience in Chesterfield, they end up going off to Henrico, Hanover, Richmond City to get a better paying job. That's a serious issue for us and something that we lose a lot of money on every officer, every recruit. Plus, it causes us to continually have to fill that void. As far as the fire department is concerned, we're also down nationally as far as how many firemen that we assign to any particular fire engine, pumper, that sort of thing. We're supposed to put 4 firemen on each apparatus. We're only putting 3 right now, so we need to bring that up as well. Now, how we pay for it is through a really hard look at our departments and how we run the county. I think that by combining some of the departments, we would do well to raise a little bit of money to plant the seed.
Your time is up, but I'll give you 15 seconds to tell me 2 departments that you would combine specifically.
Well, recently, the redevelopment department and the economic development department have been combined, with great results.
What 2 would you combine going forward?
Well, I'll tell you what, I would have to get behind the curtain. To date, I have been the guy in front of the curtain watching what's going on until I get back there and am able to take a leadership role